Hello, and welcome to a Word of Hope for Monday of the 19th week of Ordinary Time. I am very struck today by Matthew's Gospel, the last part of which, the longer part, is about a fish and a coin and paying taxes, but the opening paragraph is very striking. Jesus and his disciples were gathering in Galilee, and Jesus said to them, "The Son of Man is to be handed over to men, and they will kill him, and he will be raised up on the third day." And they were overwhelmed with grief. They were overwhelmed with grief. How many times, my friends, have you been overwhelmed with grief? I doubt many of us, if any at all, have escaped knowing what overwhelmed with grief looks like and what it feels like. Last month I visited Florida, where I have several cousins very close to me, and one of my cousins' daughters died suddenly at the age of 39. I went to visit her and her granddaughter, the daughter of the woman that died, and I sat with them for an entire day as we just together experienced being overwhelmed with grief. As my cousin said, there is simply no place in her for dealing with the death of a daughter. I think of all the people who have died of the pandemic in our country alone, over 600,000, and I think about those people who must still be suffering from such a sense of being overwhelmed by grief. It was very difficult for me to even find words to share with my cousins, so I had to borrow the words of others. One of them, by an anonymous author, said, "Grief never ends." And you and I know that. Grief never ends, but it changes. It is a passage, not a place to stay. Grief is not a sign of weakness, nor is it a sign of a lack of faith. Grief is the price of love. Today, as we experience the disciples being overwhelmed by grief, let us call to mind those times in which we have been overwhelmed. And let us pray not only for ourselves, but for those today who continue to be overwhelmed by grief. God bless you.